Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guest Hal. Throughout history, there's been many great leaders. I remember in elementary school, and one of the first leaders that I learned about was Alexander the Great. I remember him because history has always been one of my favorite subjects. And I remember he's one of the first people that I looked to, and I was like, oh wow, there's a great leader. And then I remember learning about the Buddha, so a different kind of leader, a religious leader. And then if we go to a little bit more modern, then I learned about Hitler. Not many people like him, but he was also a great leader. And then if we go a little bit more modern, is Tupac was probably my favorite leader ever. Just because his way, he touched a whole generation, and that was my generation. I grew up in the Tupac era. So he was my favorite leader by far. And then if we look at today, another guy that is probably one of the most hated men in the world right now, Donald Trump, is the leader of the most powerful country in the world. I mentioned 5 men, what do they all have in common? How did they all get to be great leaders? How were they able to surmount their lifestyles and all their difficulties and all the opposition that they faced to be great leaders? So just like there's many different kinds of people, there's many different kinds of leaders, and there's many different kinds of leadership styles. Today I want to tell you about my preferred style of leadership, and then I'm going to tell you about a style of leadership that I want to work on to develop for the future in my own use. I was a little surprised when I learned my preferred style through Toastmasters. When I started this project, they asked us to write, it's like a little quiz. And based on the answers I give, it tells me what my preferred style is. And it told me mine was the democratic style. And I was a little surprised because as soon as I hear that word, I kind of equate it to democratic government. And so it's not this exact same thing as democratic government. Democratic style of leadership is about having everybody involved. So if I was the leader of this Toastmasters club, I would ask all of you for your feedback, and I would do my best to make all of you feel confident. I would make you all feel like you're a valued member of this team, and I would ask for input from everybody. I would do my best to have the shy, quiet people step up and feel like they're valued enough to give their input. And if there's other people that are loud and sometimes may try and hijack the meetings, kind of rein them in to let everyone else have a chance. And also, a big part of the democratic style of leadership is letting other people lead. I'm not the one that always has to be at the front of the room telling everybody what to do. So for example, if I owned a business and it was time to give the financial reports, I would probably pass that off to like the accountant or maybe the financial manager, because that's their area of expertise. I'm not the financial guy, I'm the owner. And let them tell us about the finances. The democratic leadership style, it works really well when you have time to work with your team and to develop their skills and build their confidence and trust. It doesn't work too well when there's a crunch, when there's a deadline and you need to crunch and get things done fast. Which leads me to my leadership style that I want to work on, and that's the authoritative style of leadership. And again, the authoritative style of leadership is not Hitler and Trump. It's not barking orders at people and saying you have to do this or this is going to happen. The authoritative style of leadership is having a long-term strategy and end goals. It's being able to set standards that people need to meet and showing them how that's going to happen. So usually people that use an authoritative style of leadership usually have more experience and more knowledge than the people that are on their team. That way they can step up and say, this is, like, I've been there and I've done it. Let me lead the way. They can step up and they'll be on the front lines, right? they'll be the ones that are leading you. Like if we use war as an example, they're the ones at the front. They're the ones leading you into battle and showing you this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and this is when we're going to do it. And before I learned about this style doing this project, I thought it was just like barking orders, and I've tried that before. I used to coach my men's soccer team. I was a player coach, and I would yell at everybody. Like, you have to do it like this. No, like, you're doing it wrong, and that doesn't work. Right? So the best way to be authoritative is lead by example. Show them. Okay, so there's other leadership styles as well, and maybe I'll talk about those on another day. So to kind of wrap things up, I told you that my preferred leadership style is the democratic style. The one I want to work on is the authoritative style, and I believe that even though I was surprised that my leadership style was democratic, I believe it was fitting perfect because I'm a firm believer that if you want to go fast, you can go alone, but if you want to go far, then go together. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.